your ear.
¿Te gusta?
I do. Moonlight looks good on you. Very good, actually.
Quiero que me toques.
We can do that. I'd love to.
Quiero bailar para ti.
Oh, it pleases me to spread the stories of her never-ending chocolate legs from last eternity to next forever. It pleases me to look her square in the circles of her smiling windows and softly tell her, I enjoy you. We can turn everything off but the stars so my eyes can adore you. Well dressed in nothing but the skin with which God adorned you. Smooth water, dark and rich from the sun's kiss. And it pleases me to kiss everywhere the sun missed. Sculpted from the softest ebony, I expressly appreciate you. From your elaborate hairdos to your 172 pairs of shoes, you take care of you. That makes me want to take care of you. So it pleases me to pay for your manicures, pedicures, whatever your body requires to stay in style and in shape. And whenever your days and nights aren't as great, it's my pleasure to alleviate your every woe and care. Rose petals everywhere, toes in the air, soft moans in my ear. I hear you.
Delicious, delicate kisses, wishes, delicious, delicate kisses, wishes, delicious, delicate kisses, wishes, delicious, delicate.
New and fresh, like a breath of morning air in heaven. And I don't know how you get your hair smelling like watermelon, mangoes and pears, but that to me just makes your whole body edible. From your toes to your temples, and I'm already ready to dine on you. Slowly pour white wine on you. Sip the sweet from your navel. I hungry lion, you are my pride. I eat from your table.
Me gusta cuando me miras.
The nape of your neck, the shape of your breasts, the grace of your gestures, the taste of your nectar. You bend like a flower, you sleep like the moon, so warm, so soft. Your skin feels like June, your back like the Nile River, legs like waterfalls. You walk like light rain. In fact, you don't walk at all, you cascade into a dream. I lay you down like a queen who works hard for her title, so to serve you is delightful.
You said I feel like June, well can't spell June without you. You said that I'm your nectar, well sip from my spout. You said that you would taste me, yes you said a mouthful. My north wanna believe you, but myself a little doubtful. Kiss this, edible, delicious, delectable. Kiss this, edible, delicious, delectable.
Don't speak, I wanna bow at your feet and place a perfect kiss in worship of your goddess. You have earned it to me, you deserve it to me. Your every nerve is an ocean and every curve is a sea. Submerge, fall into you, all into you, crawl into you, squeeze you, release you, feed you, eat you. I please you cause I need to. It pleases me to please you.
gentlemen, and welcome to Mass Radio.
I wasn't ready for that.
This is Fonte Publishing's extension of Mass Magazine. This is a platform for anybody in their respective field that's on their grind. We go to bat for them. So we encourage you to get in contact with the information you see on your screen. Get at us, man. Tell a phone, tell a friend, however you got to do it, get in contact with us. And I'm your host for the night, the gentleman, Jamel Jones. And the man with the plan, the voice behind the screen, is my partner in grind, Mr. Link. Say what's up to the people.
Good evening, as always. What's happening out there, man? What's shaking?
What's shaking is this beautiful sister I have sitting to my right.
Over there, man.
Yes, indeed. This is the beautiful Miss Ellen G.
Hello, gentlemen. Hi, welcome. Hey,
welcome to Mass Radio.
Welcome to Mass Radio.
Home of movies.
For those that don't know, Miss G is featured in Mass Magazine. Go get your copy, massmagazine.biz. Stop playing games. Support us. So, how you want to start this off, Link?
I don't know, man. You know me. I'm trying to make it difficult because we got a veteran in the house. You know,
brother's trying to stump me. Y'all ain't gonna be able to do it though.
No.
She seemed conscious.
First and foremost, though, for those who don't know, haven't read the magazine, or just haven't seen her in one of the 900 places she is all over the internet or at an event, why don't you tell the listeners who you are?
My name is Ellen G. I am. I don't even know if Renaissance woman is the right. I don't know if that's the right word, but I do a lot of different things in the Baltimore metropolitan area. I used to host the Evolution of Perspective on Blog Talk Radio. I did that for about 4 years. Got my wings doing that, hosting, talked to a lot of interesting people, artists, authors, people in the community doing really positive work. And from that, actually, so let me back up. I originally started hosting discussion sessions. So that's how everything got started. I started hosting discussion sessions out of my house. Originally started to try to give women a platform to come together and build. And that grew because men said that they wanted to come and listen to what it was that we were saying. So that grew into the Perspectives Rap Sessions, and that's a series of discussion sessions that I host from February to October. Okay. There are 3 sessions. One session is a women's only session. The second session is a men and women session. And the third session, we talk about relationships. So from that, the radio show was born. And then out of the Evolution of Perspective on Blog Talk Radio, I actually spread my wings a little bit more and started an all-women's radio show called The Divas Dish with E. Wonder, Brooklyn, Lakia Nicole, and Annie Samorain. We put in some time and some work with that. And from that, I was able to book hosting gigs. So I've been hosting events and everything in Baltimore. Shout out to Purple Honey. And just been networking my little booty cheeks off.
I know that's right. So you mentioned in Baltimore, like, how is it coming out? Because we all familiar with Baltimore. And Baltimore is definitely a tough city. Charm City is.
It's not always charming.
Yeah, it's not always charming. That's a tough city to come out of. So what kept you focused?
I guess it boiled down to my drive and determination. I was really serious about my brand, believed in what it was that I was doing. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about, becoming known or famous or anything like that. I really wanted to help women. And the passion that came from me, from the desire to help women, just blossomed. And so when I get tired, when I feel like, why am I doing this? I go back to what it was that started, to that original seed that I planted, and keeps me going. And I be going because the sister be putting in work.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you find that it is hard to, I'm sure you put in more than you get out.
I absolutely put in more than I get out. But I realized that that's part of the sacrifice. And giving and giving and giving. Every once in a while, somebody will come back to me and say, I came to one of your rap sessions and I really learned something. And it actually makes everything worthwhile. When people, because I
You gotta
understand that it's not. Say that again.
And I was telling my partner Jamel, I said you have to go. I had the opportunity to.
Oh,
go
you
out.
mean to the rap session? I thought
Yeah.
you was telling him to leave. I'm like, oh, it's just gonna be me and you. You putting the brother out?
Nah. I'm the host.
No, the rap session, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I had the opportunity to slide through.
You
one-
came to a couple of them, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came to one on like relationships or something.
Yeah, we were talking about
And then
relationships.
we had another one with men and women, but yeah, man,
I definitely like to check
Yeah.
that out.
The one that I actually have one coming this Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday. A women and men's rap session, and the topic is understanding the opposite sex.
In case you forgot when it is, you know, you do got a big ass.
I know. I
know,
saw. Yes, absolutely awesome. Thank you. Thank you
See
for
what
the
I can do.
support.
Well, Saturday I'm gonna be messing up traffic in Baltimore like I always do. Got some helicopters flying around at
You
night.
have helicopters flying around?
Yeah, in
What is that all
Baltimore,
about?
You know, but it was the
no,
Department of
95.
Transportation
Oh.
VDOT road closures.
Traffic.
For those that don't know, when traffic is fucked up when you're on your way home, 9 times out of 10, the gentleman had something to do with it.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, you the
last
one I'm
year-
cussing out.
Yeah, last year when 95 was messed up real bad, everybody late to work. That was me out there. 2 lanes
terrible.
closed during rush hour.
For no reason.
Not terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah, but it was something that me reading your article, it was something you said, and it reminded me of something that Muhammad Ali said in 1975 Newsweek dealing with the Thriller and Manila fight, when he said, if a man views the world at 50
The same way.
the same, you know what I'm saying, as when he was 30, he wasted 20, he wasted 30 years of his life.
Yeah.
And that's what sort of like, when I read your quote, I was like, it was ironic to me.
Yeah.
Because I said, maybe that's the quote that she saw, or is that just how you feel? Like, I don't want to feel
I actually never heard that quote before. So, Ali, brother Ali, we have something in common. But yeah, no, I I was married before, and when I was married, I call that my growing pains relationship, because that was a relationship where I was really forced to grow up and to become a woman. And it's when I realized that, you know, the things I've been living the same life over and over and over and not really making any progress. I'm not growing as a woman. I'm not growing as an individual. I'm getting older, but I'm not leaving an impact on anybody. I had children and everything. And so I made the decision to enter counseling. I started going to counseling, and the very first question that my counselor asked was, you know, what is the purpose of you being here? And I said, well, I have this idea in my head about who I want to be, and then there's the me who I am now. And I want to bridge the gap between who I am now and who it is that I know that I can be. And that made me realize, like, I have a lot of growing to do. There's a lot of evolution that has to take place in order for me to get to be that person. So at 26, 27, when I turn 30, do I really want to be going into my 30s dealing with the exact same issues that I did when I was in my 20s? And so those are like benchmarks for me. So when I was moving through my 30s, it's like, no, I have to make sure that when I leave my 30s, I don't leave my 30s the same way that I did, the same way that I left my 20s. And so I was just like obsessed with the idea of evolution and growing and becoming more of who it is that I'm supposed to be. And that's where the evolution of perspective came from. When I talk to people about it, they think that it's just this, you know, this tagline that I came up with. And it really is not. Like, I watched my perspective on life, on men, on being a woman, being black. I watched all of that evolve over the last 12 years, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch. So I know if it's a good thing for me, there has to be some benefit in it for somebody else outside of me. So that's part of the reason why I do what I do.
Yeah, that was the question in the magazine. It was also the question I was going to ask you, was that you seem to stick around the whole subject of evolution. But why is it so important, though? I mean, basically what you just said.
Yeah, it's important to me because stagnation, to me, equates to death. If I'm the same, like that, there's this quote that I saw, don't live 75 years over and over and over and then call it a life, because that's not what life is about. Life is about growing. It's about hurting. It's about beautiful things. It's about sad things. It's about all of these different things. And what kind of life and what kind of legacy, what can I teach my children if I'm not being an example? Like, I can't tell them to go on and pursue their dreams if I'm going to work and coming home every day, cooking dinner, and then, watching TV and then going to sleep. They're going to look at me and be like, well, you ain't do it. Don't, you know how kids are. Don't tell me what to do. So part of it is them, being motivated for them and being a living example for them, and then for other women to see, like, it really is not just go to work, come home, cook, take a shower, watch Scandal, and go to sleep. Like, that's not what life is supposed to be about.
That's a hell of a scandal.
That's what I know what it is. It kind of reminds me of, that sounds like the rat race. Like Robert Kiyosaki talks about that in Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like that same cycle over and over and over, and you're not getting out of it. And so I definitely understand, how you feel about that. So watching yourself evolve, it's a term, and it's one of my pet peeves. People use the term man and woman so loosely. Like, every male adult to me is not a man. Every female adult to me is not a woman. So watching yourself evolve, do you look at that differently? Do you see, the concept of, from your perspective, the concept of womanhood, being a woman, do you see it differently now than?
Or the definition of it?
It's more inclusive now. Before, it was very strict and very rigid, and it was, if you didn't have a man, then you weren't a real woman. If you didn't have children, if you didn't pay your bills on time, it was very, very rigid. Now the experience of being a woman, my personal opinion about it's expanded so much. There's so many different things, so many different layers, because you have women out here who don't have children, have absolutely no desire to have children, don't want to be married. If you don't want to be married, like, that doesn't speak to your womanhood, that you don't want to be married. Like, to me, being a whole person is what defines you as a man and or a woman. And the more whole you are as an individual and as a human being, the more, to me, you embrace your man or your womanhood.
Definitely.
Because everybody can't be maternal or paternal. Some people don't have it.
Some people better not be parents. They out here corrupting people and passing on, like,
we have seen examples of
that. Passing on horrible examples
we know
of
the byproducts of that.
Yes.
How hard is it? Like, the growing pains you talk about, and evolving. How hard is it? Because everybody, like, even for me to evolve, I had this difficulty, introspection. To take an honest look at yourself and say, look, these are my flaws. I need to change these. How hard is it to do that?
It's easy now, but that's because I made a conscious effort to dive deep and to stay under until it became habit. Because, when I first got married, you asked me, well, what's the problem in your marriage? I'd be like, him. I don't be doing nothing. Like, that was all him, and it's everything. And I resisted seeing myself. And I remember when we separated, and he would say to me, "You have to be careful about how you tell the story about how we broke up, because the way that you're telling it, you're not taking responsibility for the things that you did that caused the demise of our marriage." And I'm like, well, I didn't understand it at first. And I'm like, man, whatever. You did it. It was your fault. If you wouldn't have did what you did, then you wouldn't have got what you got. That was my attitude. But then I realized that would hinder me. Because if you don't see yourself clearly, you can't gauge where you are. You can't gauge who you are. And I started going to Al-Anon meetings. And one of the things that you do in Al-Anon meetings is you take an assessment of yourself. I think it's step, they gonna hurt me. I don't remember what step it is, but there's a step in Al-Anon in this 12-step program where you take then you assess everything about yourself.
Step
And it was step 4. Yeah, it was hard.
Don't ask how I know.
All right, I won't ask. But it was hard. Like, like one of my friends say, if you had bad breath, you need to be able to admit to yourself that you had bad breath. Because if you can't, then how you're not keeping it real with yourself. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I have to reveal all of these ugly things about me, all of these ugly things that I haven't made peace with. But I'm determined to get to my next level, so I have to make peace with these things. And all of my ugly started pouring out, and the more it poured out, sometimes I would resist, sometimes I would be okay with it, sometimes I would cry. Like, I remember spending time crying, thinking to myself, I've hit a point of no return. I know way too much about this process for me to go back and pretend that I don't know anything. So I have to keep moving forward. And it got easier over the years. Now I can point out, sometimes I don't do stuff right. And the thing that I learned that made it most empowering is that when you point out what's wrong with you, people can't use it against you. So if I'm running around screaming about what my flaws are, you can't throw my flaws back in my face to try to take power from me. You can say, oh, well, you're a liar. I told you already that I lie. So, like, that, what?
Now what? Yeah.
Now what?
Like, even Obama, when he first came out, like, I sniffed some coke or something back in the days.
Right.
So then he took away the power. Now it's like we can't unleash it.
Right. And
not a dirty little secret anymore.
That is empowering. For you to be able to walk around.
But you got to be strong enough to be willing to, throw it out there.
You exercise that muscle, though. You have to exercise the muscle, because if you don't, somebody going to creep up on you, and they going to hit you in it, and you going to fall, and the recovery time from being hit in your flaws becomes harder and harder the more you climb. People start coming for you, and I'm like, look, I told y'all about stuff. I have said on my radio show, on other people's radio shows, I don't get specific because I don't want to bring other people into my drama, but I talk about the things that I've done. I've messed with married men before. Even when I was married, I had an affair when I was married. Like, you can't talk to me about the stuff that I've done because I talk about it. If you want to have a conversation about it, we can have a conversation about it. What you not going to do is try to tear me down about it, though.
That's right.
So how did you manage to get to that point at the same time doing all the things that you do?
I don't know.
Because it's not like, trust me. You know what I'm saying? I consider myself one of the busiest people who ain't doing nothing. But, one of the busiest people in the world. Yeah. And I think she got me beat by like 3-4. So, how do you evolve while simultaneously carrying this workload?
Life just kind of happens.
Business, events, mother, everything.
Life happens to you, and you can't stop it from happening. So you just kind of learn how to multitask and deal with things as they come. Like I said in the interview, some things get neglected. Like, there are times, like right now, I'm not with my kids. And they understand a little bit better than they did before, because before it was like, you ain't never home, you always going. So I started taking them to the events with me so that they could see, like, it's not as glamorous as you think it is. And now I'm like, do you want to go? They like, no, we staying home, we don't want to go to that mess with you. So they see that I'm working, and they understand that it's a sacrifice, but it teaches them about work and sacrifice and making good decisions, making sure that you have your life in place before you start having children, so that your children won't have to sacrifice that kind of time with you, like those kinds of things. I talk to my kids about those kinds of things, and it's hard. I'm not even gonna lie. It's difficult. Sometimes I don't want to look at myself. Sometimes I don't want to think about the decisions that I made. Sometimes I don't want to think about my sacrifices. And when it gets to be overwhelming, I have people who I talk to. I'm like, I need to bounce some shit up off you, so that I don't you know, because I have issues with depression, so that I don't fall back into that space either.
And like asking you about introspection, one of the things, like when I had to do an introspection on myself, like my format on my platform for looking into myself, I had what the psychologist called Joe Harvey's window. So the hardest thing for me was to have somebody else point out to me the things that I couldn't see about myself. And we call it constructive criticism. It's like, are you open to constructive criticism?
I am. It's from certain people, though. It has to come from certain people. I have maybe my oldest daughter is one of those people, because she sees me better than I see myself. She watches me and she watches my moves, so I know, like, she can tell me more about me than I can because she's on the outside looking in. And I have confidants who don't mind not putting me in my place, but they don't mind pulling my card if my card needs to be pulled. So if I'm doing things incorrectly, if those people say to me, yeah, you out of line about that, then because I trust them, I know, yeah, I'm fucking up.
Yeah, you hit on something. Everybody needs that.
Yeah.
Like people that surround themselves with, you know, I don't want to say yes men necessarily, but, you know, whether they are recording artists, whatever, they always got somebody around like, oh man, that shit is hot. And it's like,
I tell people, it got to the head. I've gotten to the point in my ability to accept criticism that I actually ask people, you know, did I do anything wrong? You know, because, you know, sometimes, like when I would do my radio show, you know, I might have thought I was doing it all right. I might have thought I was, you know, handling business. And people would listen and I'm like, what did it sound like to you? Because just because I think I'm doing it right, like you can hear stuff that I can't hear. And people would always say, oh, no, it was great. It was great. It was great. And I'm like, was it really great? Or are y'all scared to tell me because y'all don't think that I'm going to accept what it is that you have to say? Right. Because if I'm asking for criticism, that's exactly what I want.
But you got to ask the right people.
Right.
Like there's only going to be certain people. Like I can go tell Jamel, man, look, you got like 12 gray hairs hanging out your nose. And like you said, your breath stink or something,
right.
You know. They're coming from me, or he could tell me that.
Right.
It's cool, you know. Now, Joe Stranger might not get away with it so much.
Joe Stranger might get checked. Might get his chin checked.
Because,
but it's all on how you do it. Like, you know, you can't go to Joe Stranger and like vice versa. I can't go to Joe Stranger and be like, man, your breath smell like hot, you know, whatever. I gotta say, look, bro, I detect a bit of ozostomia and I'm just trying to, you know.
I mean, it's just like with the books.
Yeah.
Like when we were writing, I'm only handing my manuscript to certain people.
Right.
People that are going to read it and say, oh man, you know, these chapters was hot, that other one was bullshit.
Right.
Yeah. Don't mean I'm going to change it.
Right. But you know
opinion,
exactly.
You know what I mean? But I'm not going to give it to Slim over there that everything he hate or, you know what I mean? Like,
or everything he loves.
Opinion doesn't matter at all.
For everything you hate or everything you like.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
yeah. That's not authenticity.
Exactly.
At all.
So
you got a good circle?
I have an excellent circle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen your circle. They gonna let you know your shit ain't right. Yeah. You didn't ask it right. You didn't ask it.
That's Baltimore, east or west?
West.
I said, get it right.
Yeah, I had to think about it. I had to think about where my people are. Some of them ain't even here. One of my homeboys is in Richmond.
They gonna check you. But like me, I gotta ask you because me and Lace, we got this thing. Like he'll text me. I don't care. It might be 2:00 in the morning, and he text me sleep. So I had to hit him back like sleep. What is this thing called sleep you speak of? Never heard of it.
Right.
Like, do you feel like
I'm unfamiliar. No, you know what? No. I used to be like that, but then I had a nervous breakdown, and one of the things that I learned from being in therapy was that I have to guard my sleep. When I don't get sleep, I'm irritable. And my level of irritability, I'm cussing people out and being disrespectful and doing all kinds of... So I have to guard my sleep. And when it's time to take a nap, and my kids know. Oh, mommy downstairs, she downstairs laying down. We ain't bothering with her. Right. But I guard my sleep. more like a pit bull.
Because you don't get a lot of it, or because you guard an amount that you do get?
Both. When I'm active, you know how they say objects in motion stay in motion. When I'm active, I'm doing it. I'm like this weekend, I have hair to do Friday evening, hair to do Saturday morning, a paint party to go to Saturday afternoon. I'm hosting my rap session Saturday evening. And Sunday morning, Baltimore girls are getting ready to I guess be present at DJ Tons' birthday party at the Paradox. So my weekend is full.
That's not the event that got canceled the other day, is it? Y'all had that already?
No.
You know what I'm talking about? Got it postponed or something? Rescheduled?
What?
That you were doing with Baltimore girls?
No. That's not that. That's not even our event. We're just there in our jungle costumes.
Just make your presence known.
Making our presence known, yeah. So that's my weekend.
See, all that serious talk shit go out the window when it's party time.
Yeah.
It's a party.
There's a party going on.
So yeah.
But it seems like you got your hands full.
My hands are definitely full, but I'm happy.
All right, so
I know that you are a big proponent, as myself and Jamel are, of networking.
Oh,
working with others, to build others even.
Yeah.
Like you say, sometime at your own detriment.
At my own expense, yeah.
But why? I know why it's important for me, because my own crazy reasons. But why is it important to you?
Why is networking important to me?
Yeah, I mean, well, not just important. I mean, important to you personally, but then across the spectrum, why is networking so important for?
Just people in general.
Yeah, independent entities to actually start to rise up beyond the bullshit that we facing now.
I think one of the things that I like to say is that you never know who is in the room. And because we can't predict the future, because you never know who you will need for anything. And it might not necessarily be, that you need somebody to do you a favor. You just might need somebody to plug you into somebody who knows somebody. And so networking to me is important, and it's essential because unless you plan on staying in your circle and only dealing with your circle, which limits your capacity for pretty much everything. Reach out, get to know people. And it doesn't have to be that everybody is your friend. It doesn't have to be that you get to know people on very intimate levels. It's okay to have surface relationships with people, when you're doing business with people. I know D. D writes. He has a publishing company. Jane over here wants to write a book. She needs her book published. I know D has a publishing company. Let me put them together. So knowing people in different industries, knowing people, it's about meeting people's needs. And that's basically what it boils down to. That's the power of networking. Somebody can come to me right now and be like, LNG, I need somebody to do blah, 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 blah. And if I don't know that person, I know somebody who knows somebody. So let me put you in contact with such and such, and y'all gonna go ahead and get that done.
So why isn't there more of it going on?
I don't know.
I mean, cause there is a very noticeable divide, from street to street, neighborhood to neighborhood, city to city, even in the area. That should be, sticking together. So why the shit ain't working? The
philosophical reason behind it, for me, is that people don't believe in abundance. They believe that they have to gather and hoard things because there's not enough goodness to go around. So if there's money to be made, people don't look at it like there's unlimited money to be made. And because they don't look at it like that, I have to, you got a business, I'm gonna do business with you. I ain't gonna tell him over here that we doing business because then that's gonna take some money out, from us. And I'm like, it's my... And you can't do everything. Like, everything ain't for you. I understand every hosting gig I'm not supposed to have. You know what I'm saying? Every interview I'm not supposed to do. Some stuff really ain't for me. So I have to be willing to help somebody that I don't even know by passing it on. Here, mass radio needs a female co-host?
Yes, we do. By the way,
Who do I know who would be great at doing that? Because while I would love to be in DC every
I'm
Thursday,
already off the camera. God damn me, I'll be outside.
I would love to do it. Practically, it doesn't make sense for me. So I could do one or two things. And for some people, the mentality is, well, I can't do it, so fuck it. I'm like, but do you know somebody who might be interested? Yeah, but I mean, I'm not going to. Why would you not do that?
And that's the reaction that a lot of people, you know. I mean, we heard people mad about who was on the cover. Why not me? Well, it's not one magazine. It's not one. First of all, we put who we want on the cover.
Right.
First and foremost, you know what I'm saying? If I want to put to my ass cheek on the cover.
Right.
But there's going to be another cover, and then another one, and another one. Yeah. So keep grinding, and you can, have a cover down it. But they don't see it that way. It's like, well, I ain't a part of it.
I'm not on the cover.
Like really?
But you in it.
Yeah. But
and even if you're not in it, like I do not understand, because I don't operate that way. Yeah. If it ain't nothing in it for me, I ain't doing it. I don't get that.
And it's basically what you just said, is that selfish greed. It's just like, I want it, I gotta pile it up, I want it. And if I can't have it, can't nobody have it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not enough to go around.
Like people would rather have something and let it spoil before
they
share it with you.
Yeah. And that's insane.
It could be information.
That is insane.
They need to read some more books. Matter of fact, go read, and this ain't a free plug, but it just was an amazing book and helped me to get out that mindset, man. Go read Richest Man in Babylon by George Clayson. It's enough money to go around for everybody.
It's enough. Listen, if somebody can go online and start a GoFundMe to raise money to send some chick to Vegas just because she want to go because her friend's going, it's money enough to go around for everybody.
Absolutely.
For everybody. Damn a recession.
Yeah, exactly. GoFundMe, Kickstarter, all that good
stuff.
Well, as a T-shirt says, authentic hustlers do not believe in recession.
Exactly. Yeah.
At all, like it doesn't exist.
No.
Don't mean your ass won't be broke every once in a while.
Right. But I really, I'm bothered by the idea that, and I get it. Because if you're not raised to believe in abundance, if you're raised from the position of scarcity, then it makes sense that you're going to hoard. It makes sense that you want, but.
It's like this.
I just want to know, can it change?
It can,
we trying to change it with mass movement.
Right.
Yeah. Mass movement, mass radio, mass magazine, and the whole nine. And people say, well, you basically giving away ads, and your price is too high, raise them up. I'm like, damn, you mad because I'm giving somebody something for free that might help them.
Right.
Get to the next level.
Right.
Build up revenue.
They don't see the big picture. They see the one piece of the puzzle that you.
But something got to be wrong with that, though. That's what he told me. Something wrong with that. I'm like,
why though? Because people unfortunately scheme that way. Yeah. They feed you a whole lot of stuff in the beginning for free. They give you the shrimp and the white wine, and then you got all the good stuff. And then after a while, then they coming at you and be like, oh, so I gave you all that stuff, 6 months ago. So I need this favor real quick. And you looking at them like, well, why do I? And then you feel obligated to help them because they've been so nice to you and they've given so much. But people do that too. So a lot of times when you're doing stuff for free and you're doing stuff out of the kindness of your heart, people looking at you like, well, what you gonna want from me eventually? Yeah. And it's not.
Yeah, but then sometimes when you say it to the face, it's like you have absolutely nothing that I want.
Right.
Or need. Like I'm not. It could be somebody that does cornrows or something. Like I don't have hair. So I like nothing that you do is like there's nothing in this for me except for the fact that I believe in networking to the point that everybody gets built up.
Yeah.
Because if everybody doing good, man, things are better, much better.
That's what people don't understand.
Like they just don't get it. You ain't never went to the mall with your buddies. Like everybody got money.
Yeah.
So it's no problems. But as soon as you go with broke ass Billy, everybody sitting
everybody
around
else now we
all
chip in.
Who gonna get him something? I got him soda and and then it's he ain't feeling good, you're not feeling good. So yeah, man, we got network, man. Build together, build it up.
I think that the tides are turning though. I believe that the time when the people who didn't believe in abundance and came from the point of scarcity, I think that those people are becoming dinosaurs.
Oh, it is. It's time definitely turning because if I see one more Lamborghini or one more Ferrari come down the street, somebody getting it.
Yeah.
But you know, like we were talking about quotes. One of my favorite quotes, man, the brother Akil wrote it. He said, "In order to like what you become, you must become what you like." So I always keep that in mind. Like, man, I want to be great. I know my mind want to be great. You know what I'm saying? By this, you already great. You just try to get greater.
Yes.
So it's just like having that mindset, like Rhonda Byrne, The Secret. Like it's just like you gotta think it, you gotta pull it into yourself.
As a man thinketh, so shall he be.
And that's all it is. So we got it, like you said, we got a network. But even if if I'm not seeing everybody else networking around me, then it's gotta start somewhere. I gotta start. I gotta push it. So like he said, he like, man, look. People feel like he giving stuff away for free because he offered hellified promotional deals, but that's what he wants to do. They don't see the big picture. Okay, you feel like it's free, but like you just said, you never know who you gonna meet.
You never know who is in the room.
I just met this dude with Own Bass Magazine, and he gave me this great deal, man. Look out, let's back him.
Exactly.
Let's back him. Whole time he a millionaire. Okay, we're gonna put this money into you.
People don't understand that. But I think people like us being pioneers in the new networking, the new way to network, because that old way just don't work.
Do you think that we are at a geographical disadvantage?
Not necessarily.
Because you hear it every day, man. From Baltimore, D.C., Virginia, DMV, you know, if you're part of it, you know, however you want to call it. It is what it is. It's the corridor. It's a Baltimore, Washington geographical region. You in the shit, whether you call it DMV or whatever you call it. But they always say we're not going to get nowhere. You know,
well, it depends on how you define getting somewhere.
Not just that. They need to go through the list. You need to check and see who came from here, and you know,
I'm about to
brothers
say,
like Jeffrey Wright and everybody. I mean, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
but,
it's a you know,
it's not that we don't make it. It's just that sometimes when they go, they become Hollywood or something else, and they don't seem like they're from here anymore.
I guess it's how people define success. Because success for me is not defined. And I actually thought, because I contemplated on how big I really wanted to get. Like, do I really want to be this big? And
Oprah.
No, because people kept comparing me, and I'm like, I don't want to be that. Like, I see the benefit of being that, but I don't want to be that. Number one, because my whole entire life and my whole entire approach to everything that I'm doing would have to change. And I can see the benefit of that because, you know, you reach more people.
Though. Like, you know, she do. She got that Oprah-ish.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like sometimes we don't want certain positions, but it's just bestowed upon us.
Yeah.
That's our calling. That's our purpose because what you're doing, you're helping a lot of women. So it might come to a point where you have to, the demographic is broader. More women, you know, appeal to that. Like, man, she really could help me.
Right.
Because there's a lot of women that, you know, I call them, they got that Stockholm syndrome.
There's more women that need help
that need help.
Yeah, way more.
And don't know how. Like they don't know how, and that might be the platform.
But see, the issue that I have is not necessarily growing. It's once you reach a certain level, you don't have control over what it is that you're doing. Yeah. Other people, and I want to stop right there. Like that is my cap. Wherever that is. Once I lose control over what it is that I'm doing, then like things are no longer mine. I can't make decisions. I have to, you know, deal with the politics of this, that, and I don't.
Before they earn McGrew to you.
But hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
For those who don't know, I'm a Boondocks fanatic, man. That whole bullshit was signed over the. I feel some kind of way. I still do. Man.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I took that shit personally.
I don't mind staying under that cap.
I did too.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with Fonte and Mash and everything else. Like, we didn't do it to make a bunch of money, sell it to the next man, let him do whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So,
and we have a real bad habit of doing that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's necessary. Russell Simmons said it's like with Fat Farm. He said y'all mad because I sold it, but y'all wasn't wearing it. Yeah. He didn't sell it to at the time that he sold it. Sales was down like 70% or something. You know how we do. We rock it for a year. I ain't wearing that shit no more.
Right.
But when he's, you selling it, go overseas and everywhere else, they still wear it. So I mean, it's our own problem. We don't support the way we should. So it's got to be all the way around.
Support our own.
I agree.
We do. I mean,
but I also, because so that is a whole nother conversation about race and about why black people don't support black people. I heard this awesome quote about the crabs in a barrel syndrome and how they say, black people are like crabs in a barrel and, always pulling one another down. But the natural habitat for the crab is not a barrel. So if you put black people in a situation that's not their natural habitat, of course they're not going to support each other. But put them in a position where they're, where they're supposed to be and where they have the opportunity to thrive, then they're going to thrive. Yeah. You put me in a crowded room with a whole bunch of people and tell me find your way to the top, unfortunately, somebody going to have to get stepped on. Yeah. But if you level the playing field and tell everybody you all have the same opportunity to do, then
what's crazy is you could take a handful of ants and throw them in the bottom of the barrel, and they're gonna make a chain,
right?
And until the last one is out,
right?
And it's not there. It's not natural for them either,
right? Well, it's natural for them to work together.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's natural for them to work together.
So we gotta make it natural for us to work together.
The tides are turning. Like there is.
Actually, I think it's always been natural. It's just been broken up along the way. So
right. There's a shift going on in the world. There's some with Ferguson and the all of the police brutality and all of the there's an awareness coming up, and I can see it. It's in the young people, it's in older people, it's in our generation. Something is happening, and I'm excited to see how people's eyes. My daughter, she's 22. She said she was unaware that racism impacted 22-year-olds the same way that it did her grandparents or her great-grandparents. Twitter, there were people in college her age talking about being called a nigger. And she was like, I was so far removed from all of that stuff that I didn't even realize, damn, this shit's still happening. Yeah. It really is still happening. And so there's this awareness that's coming about thanks to social media and thanks to the connectedness of the internet that I feel like we will benefit from very, very shortly as a people. I can feel that coming.
So what else do you feel coming in 2015 for LNG? I mean, where did you go after you had a drink named after you? God damn.
Drink named, and she said it was a one-time thing.
Yeah, it was a one-time thing.
Name a drink after me one time.
That's all it takes.
You will never hear the end of it.
Yes, indeed.
It's crazy because I still don't know what the drink tastes like. I've never tasted it before.
I would have drank a bottle for you.
Growing the rap sessions, strengthening the brand, trying to figure out whether or not people are interested in who I am as a person enough for me to let them into my life a little bit more. I don't know whether or not people are interested in getting to know me that way.
The way your news feed lights up, you actually asked that question.
Yeah, I'm about to
she can say, it's sunny outside. It's like 64 comments in 2 minutes. Man, I was sitting around waiting for her weather report and shit. But you do have a magical following.
But that's social media. So if you look on my Twitter, we were talking about where you capitalize off your social media, my Twitter is dry as a bone.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Twitter either.
Me neither. I don't do too much tweeting. Every now and then I hit it. But Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook is...
They be blowing you up.
Plus, I stay on there because somebody's stepdaughter said that only old people on Facebook. So, hey, that's where I'm at. I'm with the old heads.
Yeah, I don't mind being an old head on Facebook. I don't mind that at all.
So, for the people who don't have a copy of the magazine, even though they can get it at massmagazine.biz right now,
with the cover featuring our man.
Everything is there. Dave
Manigault.
on the cover. Those who don't have it, where can they find out more about LNG?
Go to my website, misslng.com, mslngee.com. I have a blog there. I have the links to my social media sites. I post about events that I have coming up and all that good stuff.
And whatever you do, don't just walk up, man.
She's
Stop
in there.
trying to spit at Ellen because you're going to have
You better
problems.
not look. Let me tell you something.
She's
I
in
have
there.
this whole campaign about men approaching women. It's not a campaign. I have this whole thought process about men approaching women because when I'm on my lunch break, like there's this new thing where men will ask women to buy them something to eat. I'm like, what the hell?
What?
So I'm walking up the street. I have my
And they
food
got-
in my bag.
Got chicks asking dudes to marry them too. So I mean, hey,
And the guy would be like, did you buy me something? And I'm looking at him like, number one, I don't know you. And number two, like, that's what we doing now? You asking women to buy you food? But I don't do the, I don't like compliments from men I don't know. I don't, when I'm out, I'm on a mission. I don't go outside just to be outside. When I go outside, it's 9 times out of 10 because I have to handle some kind of business doing something. So, because I'm not outside to try to meet men and get to know men and all that other stuff, when you speak, I'll speak back to you. But don't feel like I owe you anything. Please don't feel like, and you got a minute. No, I don't have a minute.
see, a lot of women have been saying that recently, right? But I think it doesn't get said clearly because dudes getting the impression like they saying don't speak to me. First of all, that's how you meet people. You know,
Right.
You speak.
Right.
Now, if I say hello and you give me the go to hell look, you know, some dudes just don't leave it there, and maybe that's the problem.
That is exactly the problem.
But it's not the hello, how you doing?
No, it's not the hello, how you
know.
doing? It's not hello. Like we see people, we
Yeah.
greet people. That's what you do. But
Hold the door for somebody, and they turn around and look at you like really?
She just don't
all
feel
I
like
did was
being
hold.
bothered.
All I did was hold the door for you. I didn't even say shit.
the thing that I don't understand, and maybe you gentlemen can help me to understand, and y'all might not be these kind of men, but when you speak to a woman with the intent of trying to get to know her better, do you not gauge her response as a signal to continue or to back off?
Oh, definitely, you gotta read the warning sign. The body language is like, you know, if I approach and I speak like he said, you
I don't
can
have
go to
those
hell.
problems.
Like,
I don't have to approach. I don't have to approach random strange women.
I'm good. Me right now, I'm good. I'm married.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
But I mean, just from a male
yeah.
perspective, you know, like if I'm walking down the street and a guy's like, "Hey, how you doing?" and I don't break my stride, I don't look at him or anything. I say I'm fine and keep going. Something in me is like I'm sending that signal to you specifically
I don't feel like being
so
bothered.
that you know not to say anything else to me.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, men don't get that. They're like, you got a minute? I know I don't look like I have a minute. I know I don't look like I have a minute.
I'm convinced it's the same people, same dudes inboxing people weird
Yes.
pics and shit. It's like that caliber dude. It's not regular.
Yeah.
Like I don't know nobody that does that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I don't.
Well, I do got a friend that he says some wild shit, but he gets responses to it, so he keeps doing it.
Right.
But I don't hang with people that
Yeah, my associates,
Yeah.
they pretty much they mature.
We let them
if they say
choose.
something to you, first
Let
how
them
they
choose
approach
you.
you is gonna be different.
Right.
They're not gonna have their pants hanging down under their butt. And, you know, they not into I'm getting in line to get a ticket for these new Jordans. You know the word.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a whole different caliber and approach. Like if they see you walking, of course you're busy. So probably a more a setting where you settle down, you're
Right.
relaxing. Okay, do you have a minute? Well, let's let me give you my number. You
Right.
feel like talking. You know, technology is different. You can email me, text me, whatever.
Right.
Speaking of a minute, that's about how much time we got on Mags
Oh,
Radio
wow.
tonight.
That's
I knew it was
The
going to
hour
go
goes
fast.
so. See, man, you know,
go fast when we
we
talking.
needed 2 for Ellen. We needed 2. We got to bring her back again.
That's
But
it.
on a closing note, before you got here, see, we should have had Ellen that day that we was on our Midnight Moon. We was talking about taboos, right?
Oh, yeah.
Remind the good brother what you said about taboos these days.
I can't remember what I said. The only thing Damn, what did
No, I
I
ask you,
say?
do they exist?
Taboos.
Is anything sexually taboo nowadays?
The only thing I feel like the only thing that is sexually taboo today is that has to do with playing around a man booty hole.
Yes,
Anything
indeed.
else is fair game.
Y'all heard what me and D said.
Anything else is fair game. People do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Do it twice on Sunday. Like there's no, and I don't know what that means, that there's so much sexual freedom. I think the reason that it bothers people is because the level of responsibility doesn't match the level of freedom.
Right, it's just man, people degenerates nowadays. Man.
We're going to have to bring Miss Helen G back for
Yes.
the full edition of Midnight Moan.
Yeah, bring me back.
Let her bring a couple cohorts with her, and we'll do what we do.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Until the next time.
Peace.
What you know about that?